Welcome back to the Whatnauts Reactor Core. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa, how are you?
I'm fine, Kyle. How are you?
Doing well. We have the finale of Miss Marvel to talk about this time. I'm super excited to talk about this one.
Yeah.
I know last week my thoughts on this show kind of overall have dipped, and I would say they're still kind of there. But I think this one will spark a lot of discussion for sure. So I am excited to dive in to Miss Marvel episode 6.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa, what did you think?
I think the show is emotionally pretty successful. I was happy to be back in Jersey this episode.
Mm-hmm.
As messy as some of the plot mythology can kind of be, for every character we have on the side who seems a little two-dimensional in the villain category, the home of the show, like Kamala's family and her friends and her community, are so well done. What this show does right, it does really right, and it feels really good to be back there. And I think that's the strength of the show, and I hope that's what they return to. I hope that amid all of her possible like galaxy hopping adventures, we also get time for Kamala to just like go to her mosque and like have dinner with her parents.
Yeah, indeed. I think that's a really great way to put it, because I think overall in the show there's a number of plots that just kind of got the short end of the stick because they tried to have multiple plot lines in this thing. It feels like maybe one of them could have been the season if they focused on that, and it just seems like they just packed it all into one. I don't think 6 episodes was enough, right?
Yeah.
So there are some things that kind of got the short end, and that's disappointing and maybe a little confusing. But I think the emotional core of the show is there. The things that I think you're supposed to feel like, oh, that's nice, like are there in the show. In this one, Kamala finally gets her new costume, her new outfit, right? And it's something that her mom gives her. And I thought that was amazing. I was like, oh, that's like, it's not like, hey, Tony Stark knows who you are. Here's this new suit. Or like, hey, Carol Danvers sent this straight from the Kree home world. It's no, her mom got her the suit.
Yeah.
And I think that's so sweet, especially after the like, here's Big Hulk and Little Hulk, right?
Yeah.
Like, here's the actual suit that she will wear. Which was also kind of a bait and switch from the like, oh, she has the scarf now. Oh, she has the mask.
Right,
From the, oh, she has the vet. Like, it was all kind of inspired by her adventures, but it was not, oh, I have the scarf from here. I have the little vest thing from there. But I guess she told her mom about all the adventures and stuff, and her mom went and either made a suit or bought one. We don't know exactly. But the suit looked fantastic. I liked it.
It is a great look for her. And I like that it is just a suit and she just has to use the same shoes she always wears. She's just got the same Converse she wears to school.
Iconic red Converse is her thing. Yeah. I liked that a lot. I think this series getting back to Kamala really being like the hometown hero, being like the local superhero that Jersey City is like, yeah, that's Miss Marvel. She's our hero. That I think is what the show should have focused on more. But I like what we got, because that is still at the core of the show, right? We get all these like Instagram live and TikTok videos of people being like, yeah, she must have been practicing. Oh, she's gonna have a hard time getting a husband now. And like all of this stuff of just like people talking about her. There's this sense of like camaraderie, right? Of like, she belongs to Jersey City. And I really enjoyed that.
I like seeing the community wonder about her life the same way she wonders about a superhero's life.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And how much they have to learn. I love the irony of the one auntie saying she's going to have a hard time finding a husband when Kamala has like 3 potential love interests in these 6 episodes alone.
They've all just been right there. She has her pick of the litter. Yeah, it's nice to see. I did enjoy this one more than I did what we saw last week. I think also because of the like Home Alone antics and stuff. I like that style of stuff, right? Where you get like, all right, we have to buckle in and like use what we got to defend home base, right? And they're like, okay, we have hoodies and fire extinguishers and softballs. What do we do?
We have
right?
one science class skeleton.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I had more fun, but I still think this one had a lot of issues and a lot of problems, and things felt half-assed, or the emotional beats weren't fully there. I think this one particularly, some of the line delivery, especially from Kamran, was not great. I don't know. Like I want to know what they're doing with that character.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just kind of left confused at the end of this. I wasn't sure if he was in control of his powers or not. It, of course, seems like he's not at first, because he's like, I can't control it. Like, he actually has that. But very quickly, he seems to get a handle on his powers. But there is that one time when he has this outburst, and there's like this echoey voice of Najma still kind of reaching out to him. So is she controlling it? Does she have some kind of influence on him? That's not really answered or addressed. But yeah, he does seem to kind of get a handle. But then at the end, it ends with him having this kind of outburst that very much seems like he's not in control. Where like all of the like crystalline hard light structures are just swarming around and breaking out, and it looks like they're about to stab people, and they're just ever so slowly like inching towards people, and he can't control it. But he was controlling it just a second ago. Like, what caused him to not control it? That's stuff like that was unclear. But I thought the emotional punch of Kamala letting him know, like, hey, yes, your mom died. She didn't make it, but she chose you. Like, you have these powers now because of her. She wanted you to live here and find a new home, find a new family, all that stuff. Like, I thought that was sweet, but again, was just a victim of, okay, we didn't really get enough time to explore that for it to have the emotional weight that I think it should have. But yeah, was there stuff about this one that you thought was a little confusing?
I don't know.
A few more things, but I don't want to dwell on it too much.
Yeah, like a lot of things that I think confuse us. Either it's not going to matter, or it is going to matter, and it is going to be re-explained. Like how Kamala's this sort of patchwork of Noor, Jinn, light dimension magic, a magic bangle, or a cosmic bangle. Don't know the origin of the bangle. Possibly could be Kretek, in which case we also, in addition to another realm, we have another planet involved in here. And then the big moment of the episode, Bruno says she has a mutation. I didn't even notice the music, and I noticed it in Multiverse of Madness. I don't know why I couldn't hear it this time, but
it's with
big
a
moment.
different
Big moment.
instrument. Like in Multiverse of Madness, I felt like they played the actual guitar riff. This was using the instruments that was playing the songs in the back, so it blended in a lot more. But yeah, it absolutely was the X-Men 97 guitar riff. And yeah, I saw that right away, and it was just like, oh my god, they're saying she's a mutant, not inhuman, not a Kree. They're like, interesting stuff here.
Yeah, very, very odd that this is how they choose to introduce it. And it doesn't have, I'm excited, but it didn't have quite the same impact that I was hoping it would, because we still have not heard mutant, which is the word everyone's excited for. It's mutation, which is like almost there. I'd like to hear it, but it's not the word I've been wanting to hear. And then it's introduced in this context where we really weren't expecting it. And when we do get it revealed, it's like, how does that fit in exactly?
Wait, what?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So before we continue talking about that, I just want to say a couple more things that I was confused by. So according to the show, we know that Najma was trying to get back to the Noor dimension, and by trying to get back there, that would spark something that would destroy the like normal dimension, if you can call it that. In this one, Kamran gives us new information that she was trying to stop their dimension from being destroyed.
Yeah.
That was new, and it was just like, whoa, wait, what? That sounds important. Like, why hasn't that been brought up before? It just seemed like they were trying to get home previously, and unfortunately for us, it would have negative consequences. So I was confused by that, of just like, what? So what was her purpose? Was she just trying to get home, or was she trying to save her dimension? Because that would change things.
Yeah.
Kind of. So that was a little bit confusing. And then yeah, just the whole damage control at the end. They're coming back, and that one agent kind of going rogue. And then it like they basically are like, all right, pack it up. Like, we don't want you attacking children, all this stuff. Go home. She goes rogue. She gets back on the phone after it all goes wrong, and they basically say the same thing. Okay, pack it up. Go home. You're relieved of Jody. Like, that's gonna do anything? Like, she obviously was like not listening before. Like, what makes you think she's just gonna pack it up and go home now?
Yeah, she could refuse to be fired. That's true.
Right. Like, I don't know.
That was a character
that
I realized was really bugging me. And I know she's not like on the list of things that really bug other people about the show. Like, I know everyone's had a problem with the clandestines feeling kind of muddled and kind of uninteresting when it's a really cool concept, but then you never get to know those characters well at all. Agent Deaver is... I understand that she recognizes that she represents this real world prejudice that's out there, but she feels like such a two-dimensional character. Like, she represents something real, but does not feel realistic herself at all.
It's very Disney-fied, if I could make up a word.
I understand.
It feels like they get right up to the edge of like, okay, here's racism, right? But they don't cross that line. They don't really call her a racist. It's just like, well, maybe you can infer that she's a racist and she has some kind of outdated post 9/11 politics that weren't good in the first place. I think they do the same thing with police brutality at the end here, because it is damage control. Like, they feel like it feels like the town has this moment where they really are starting to stand up against damage control, but then nothing happens. And so it just feels like it goes right up to the edge, and it's like, but everything like, hey, happily ever after, right? We just need to love each other. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, but like, you didn't say anything with this.
Yeah, she gets fired, but it's not like Agent Cleary ever like sits down and explains to her, you have to stop this, not just for your career, but because it's wrong to do this to other people. And
strange.
I did really like whoever that actress is. I did really like her performance. I would like to see her again. The first time you see her, she's really striking, and she's got this sort of odd looking face. And I mean this with the most respect and admiration. She's got kind of a sour looking face. Like she's kind of like squinting at you the whole time. Like she looks mean. And then they put her in this like all black outfit that looks kind of cool on its own. But then to have her be such a prejudiced character who makes these assumptions about people, the same thing kind of applies to her. Like, oh, that lady who looks really mean, she is really mean.
Yeah. I liked the scene when she goes back to the mosque and they all have their IDs like right there. And then the Sheik, I think is the
yeah.
He says this quote about God, and like I don't care if God is on my side because I'm on his side and God is always right. And she's just sitting there like, I don't have time for your Quranic quotes. And he's like, actually, that's Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah,
which is just like, that's one of the most Americans that you can like.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
He's got some good points. I really love when he's talking to Bruno and
Kamran.
Kamran. Thank you. I blanked out on that for a second.
The one time I know someone's name.
Right. And he tells them when they're going to like escape from the DOD, and he tells them, just because these people consider you their enemy doesn't give you the right to treat them the same way. I like that philosophy. I liked whenever we saw that character. I love when he's included in all the TikToks at the end and he's accidentally hit the filter to turn himself into a hot dog.
I'm a hot dog.
Yeah. And he's not even frustrated. He's just like, well, I hope this is halal.
Yeah. He's so happy. Yeah, and then the last thing I will say, as much as I am a fan of the like Home Alone antics and stuff, again, it felt half-assed because they didn't spend much time on it. Like, I would have loved to see like a more in-depth, like, okay, what is the actual plan? Like when they go in here and do all, like, I would have loved that. And I liked what they had, but it was just not enough. So
if we had spent more time at the high school, we could have set up things that they could have used in this final battle.
Yeah.
I do like when they go to the high school thinking they'll be alone and they're like panning around the circle.
Zoe just shows up out of nowhere.
She just walks into the frame apropos of nothing.
I love it. I thought that
confused.
Was so...
I loved it. I thought it was really funny. And then I think her brother does the same thing later. Hi, I'm here also.
So that was the thing that saved it for me. I was like, I'm going to have to talk about this on our reaction and how much this just doesn't make sense. And she showed up and then it was like, and then her brother just shows up out of nowhere and does that. I was like, oh, okay. So that's the joke. Like, is that they are just showing up. She knew all along, like all this, that like, okay, that makes sense. I'm more okay with that. I like that. That was a good joke that everyone just kind of knew already that she was Miss Marvel. And we do get a sweet moment in here when she kind of figures out her name as her dad tells her the meaning of her name and how it kind of translates to she is a Marvel. And she's just like, oh, I share a name with Miss Marvel. Oh my God.
I like that a lot. I was happy that after we spent so much time with her relationship with her mom, that we do return and get this like little final scene with her dad also.
Yeah, that was good. That was sweet. Indeed. But let's talk a little bit more about this mutation thing here that's happening at the end. So yeah, this is the kind of big twist, right? That she is not an inhuman, but is potentially a mutant. Now, we don't know exactly how mutants and inhumans are going to work in the MCU. They haven't really explained it. Will they kind of retcon things to have Wanda and Quicksilver be mutants in there? We don't know. Is the Inhumans going to kind of be the Kree version of mutants? Like, is she she technically a mutant? Maybe, but is she also inhuman because she has the Kree?
That's true. Maybe they're setting it up to where, that maybe they're setting it up for this world where they're not mutually exclusive. You can be both. And, for a character who does come from this background where she comes from an immigrant family and she feels sort of very close to her community and also kind of outside of it in other ways. And the same thing when she goes to Pakistan, like she's there with her family, but also there's a lot of things she doesn't know. To put that on this character, to have her be in both genres of superpowered person, that could be something interesting.
Yeah, because it can absolutely be that, like, hey, maybe the Kree did come down to Earth a long, long, long time ago and do some experiments, and that is kind of what started to give people these powers and this genetic mutation. Maybe like the original line of them became known as the Jinn, and they because of the more direct connection to the Kree had access to this Nord dimension, but maybe the descendants don't as much as it has kind of mutated away from that. We don't know. But that is a big surprise. That is a change to Kamala's story.
Yeah.
That she is not a mutant in the comics. She is an inhuman. But then there still is the confusion of what it really is the difference between all of them. Exactly. It's a group of people that have powers that manifest in different ways, and so it's kind of a grab bag right now, but I like that they are planting the seeds, starting to explore it some. So
Multiverse of Madness was such an interesting setup, and then we got our first mutant and we got our first inhuman at once, and you don't know are both of these legitimate? Is one legitimate and one's kind of a joke? Are they both jokes? What is this turning into? What exactly is this setting up here? And we have an interesting, almost kind of a setup for both of them. But people thought it was going to lean more inhuman, and it's leaning more mutant.
Yeah, and it looks like with this mutation, it gives Kamala's powers a chance to mutate, right? Because she was really only doing the hard light stuff that was kind of encasing her body and projecting it out. That could potentially be like the idea of the inhuman cocoon that they go in there, and her powers are gestating and just starting to manifest.
Yeah.
Whereas the more she uses them, maybe it is more of her embiggening powers, her more stretchy Fantastic Four style powers. I don't know. Looks like you're looking up something on your phone here.
I'm trying to look up
mention
if the word embiggen. I know it from The Simpsons, but I don't know if The Simpsons originated that word or not. I think it's interesting that this is. There's in the town of Springfield, there's a statue of the founder, Jebediah Springfield. And there's a quote from him on the base of the statue that says, "A noble spirit embiggens the smallest man." And you can see the teachers talking about it at the school, and one of them's like, "Is embiggen a word?" And the other one says, "Oh yes, it's a perfectly cromulent word."
Yeah, well, she has embiggening powers. It's a perfectly cromulent power set.
Right.
But yeah, who knows if the like hard light will remain, because it looked like at the end there maybe it is starting to transform, maybe it is starting to mutate a bit, and then we get an end credit scene. Yes, you're about to
according to BBC News, it is created by The Simpsons.
Wow.
And now
Okay.
it is part of the official Merriam-Webster dictionary.
Wow, good to know.
Simpsons, and it's neat that
officially
they could, like,
canon in MCU.
Right. And she could like reference that and it's still in house. Like she can reference The Simpsons as much as she wants.
Yeah. So we get an end credits scene where something happens at the end here. It looks like Kamala is pushed or like sucked back into her doorway and falls through the door, and then pops out Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel. Yeah, Captain, the official one. This is interesting because Kamala in the comics kind of has shape-shifting powers. That is essentially what her embiggening powers are. She is shifting. She is shifting the shape of her body. When she first gets her powers in the comics, she just kind of subconsciously transforms herself into what her ideal version of a hero is, and that is Carol Danvers. She shapeshifts into Captain Marvel. So that was my first thought. I was just like, oh, she got her like shape-shifting powers. I don't think that's what happened.
No, I don't think so.
I think she switched places.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think it's a switcheroo that's framed maybe kind of as an homage to that origin story. Where you think almost for a second that she did transform into her. When I listened to the new Rockstars breakdown, I think they described it as like that thing in a movie where two characters get handcuffed together, but it's like stretching across the cosmos.
The 39 steps, but it's space. Yeah. I think that's really interesting to think about, and is a really cool setup for how she gets involved in the Marvels. Because who knows where Kamala is right now? She could be on some random planet with a random group of outlaws and aliens, or who knows what. And she could just be sitting there doing the same thing, being like, no, and like running out like, where am I? Oh no,
where's my mom?
Yeah, exactly. Or who knows, maybe it has something to do with this second bangle that's out there. Because there is this mention of a second bangle that we don't see yet. Maybe Carol had discovered it and was investigating it out there, and happened to be touching it at the same time Kamala was, and then did the old switcheroo. Maybe she has a relative out in space somehow.
Ooh, I like that.
That they're suddenly with. I have no idea, but I think this is a neat start to Miss Marvel will return in the Marvels. I'm actually like, as much as I didn't like this episode or kind of where this season ended up, really, I do think there's some really exciting stuff that it has set up, and I left this just like, my mind is working, the gears are turning, like I'm super excited about where this is going. So cool, good stuff.
Yeah, we've added some interesting chess pieces onto the board. I feel like we're learning more and more about things that could happen in the MCU, and we still don't have a clear direction. So I'm really excited for that Comic-Con panel later this month, and hoping we're going to get a little bit of clarity there. This is an exciting time period to be in, where we don't know where we're building in. I don't dislike it. It's kind of fun. but I'm also very excited to
it's
know
getting
what the
to be
goalpost is we're moving
Yeah.
towards. Right? Yeah, we're getting to the point where it is, and it'll tip and maybe become less fun.
Yeah, indeed. I still am putting my foot in the ring. Is that the right metaphor
You
thing?
can do whatever you want.
I'm
Put
putting
a foot anywhere.
I'm putting my money on War of the Realms. That's what I'm.
I like that theory. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be War of the Realms with a lot of the more recent Secret Wars mixed in. I know I talked a bit about it on a previous Miss Marvel reaction. Thor Love and Thunder had some post-credit sequences that didn't necessarily add to it, but didn't take away from it either. Just added some more well, I guess that could fit. Huh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we'll see. We shall see.
Yeah, I think we're in a time period where we've been expecting to have our minds blown right open. And I feel like Spider-Men did that, all three of them boys together. That was one of those moments. The Illuminati was one of those moments. And I think we're ready for another one, even though the one I just mentioned was just a handful of months ago.
Yeah. Indeed. Question. I don't think we've gotten any kind of announcement that there will be a season 2 of this show. I think if they do, it won't be until after the Marvels comes out.
Yeah.
Is kind of what I'm imagining. But if we get a season 2, what would you want to see more of?
Oh, I don't know if I'm excited by a high school show on its own. But I do like Kamala in her community. I like her family. I like her friends at the mosque. I like Nakia. I like Zoe. And I don't know, maybe it's like a college road trip. It's like, I'm going to look at various colleges. We're going on a trip and it's her exploring different locations or just some sort of Jersey City threat. I want to see I want to see her develop a rogues gallery. Who are her foes within Jersey City? Who is her paste pot Pete that she encounters?
One of the first villains she encounters in the comics is this giant talking chicken that thinks it's descended from Thomas Edison. It is the dumbest thing in the world. I don't think they will do that. They did have a reference to it, kind of, when they're up on the roof. They're sitting there and they first get the photon gloves. There is a sign in the back that says Edison Electric in the back there. So that was a brief tip of the hat there, but it would be nice to have her build up a bit of a rogues gallery. I think that'd be cool. I want to see her be the hometown hero, right? I want her to explore Jersey City and her relationship to the guy who works the food truck, right? I want to see more of that. I also think Kamala would be the perfect character to kind of start threading the needle with all these other younger, the young Avengers.
Exactly.
Especially if they're high school or college age. You just mentioned this road trip. What if she goes with Bruno to his college tour thing and they happen to see Riri Williams there. She might not decide to go there because we know she's gonna be at MIT.
But she tried Caltech.
She's on the tour or something, right? Or just her extensive knowledge of the MCU and knowing that there are other heroes out there, her being on YouTube, knowing that there were videos of Spider-Man on YouTube. I wonder if she knows that there are other heroes, younger heroes out there her age, and she makes a conscious choice to be I need to go team up with them or meet them. And not just build a rogues gallery, but build a build her team. build the champions or the young Avengers or whoever.
I really like that idea that one young hero will see another young hero and decide, I ought to reach out to them. And it's not just, we met by happenstance, we're thrown together, we must team up. Like that they choose to team
check your
up.
DMs.
Yeah, I like that. I like the deliberate team building. Like this, there's no Nick Fury. Like, be your own Nick Fury. Get your own team together.
Sure. Yeah. Indeed. I think that would be a fascinating thing to go see. So hopefully we get a season 2 down the road. I'm super excited for the Marvels, which comes out next year. Is that right?
I think that's the summer one.
Like right in the middle of the summer, because I think it was that February date and then it got pushed, right?
So the roster right now is next month is She-Hulk. I guess around October it's Werewolf by Night. Don't forget about him.
Which we still don't really know Forever. Anything about.
Right, like that's what Comic-Con's for. It's 40 minutes of Werewolf by Night.
God, yeah, I hope so.
It doesn't explain anything else, only Werewolf by Night. Quantumania is in the Valentine's Day slot. Take your sweetheart. And then Marvels is next July. And I imagine there might be, maybe there's something in the May slot. Oh, Guardians 3. Oh my God. I love Guardians 3 so much. My brain separates it from the rest of what's going on. It's on a higher level.
It's embiggen compared to the rest of them. Right.
It is. That's true. And I don't know the other shows coming out. I guess next summer might be Loki season 2, might be What If season 2. I forget about the timelines for like
Echo. There has been some recent news about that. There's been some recent news about Ironheart for Riri Williams.
Yes.
Armor Wars is coming sometime down the road well. So
I know the list of things that they're working on, but I forget like what the order is. I don't know if we're getting Secret Invasion first or the last of this slate.
And that too.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool. Well, I think that about wraps us up for our reaction to the finale of Miss Marvel. We hope you guys both enjoyed Miss Marvel, the show, and our reactions to that. Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT. And listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities.
There you go. And you guys can find me on Twitter at YoKyleSpringer. And if you guys would like to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. So please go like, share, and subscribe. That would help us out a ton. I'm sure we will be back. I think I might try and do some reactions to Paper Girls down the road.
Oh, yeah.
But for the time being, this is number 76 of the Reactor Core. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.